What it is, people, my name is Batman, and this is part 2 of the in-depth analysis of the YouTube gaming community and its future as an industry and in relation to the gaming industry as a whole. For part 1, click the annotation on your screen right now. If you've already seen it, you'll recall I explained how and why Call of Duty enabled the huge explosion of gaming videos on YouTube and the current gaming community in all its glory. And I also explained how that community has evolved to the point that it is no longer dependent on Call of Duty. Far from it. The biggest channels like Toby Games and CNaners rarely post Call of Duty anymore at all, and if they do, it's generally when a new one has just released. And game developers love this, obviously, and again, it's amazing advertising. Every channel that plays the game is basically advertising it to all of their subscribers. Keep in mind, if they wanted to, they would be within their legal rights to just shit on the entire party with copyright claims. Like, technically speaking, all of us posting gameplay are breaking modern content ID copyright infringement laws. It's just that nobody is pressing charges because everybody loves it. And that's the other big thing that in the early days I thought would eventually destroy the YouTube gaming community, was all these games would get pissed that people were making money off their games. But I did realize pretty early on what an amazing advertising opportunity they must think it is. And with that in mind, the other huge change we're seeing these days is both Microsoft and Sony have now built a PVR into their respective consoles. That by itself should send a message to the world about just how intensely the gaming market values YouTube videos. What that says is that they want every single person playing games to be making videos. It's huge. And on top of that, you see a lot of individual gaming mechanisms. Black Ops 1 bringing in theater mode right after COD gameplay explodes on YouTube during MW2. And then Black Ops 2 also gave you the option to live stream or upload 30-second clips straight to YouTube from the game. And I know they're now taking theater mode out for Ghosts, which I don't think they would have done if the new gen consoles didn't have built-in PVRs, but it's a smart move because theater mode actually causes a lot of lag because the engine had to not only run the match but simultaneously record everything on a separate file too. So COD's getting the best of both worlds on that front, and that might be a big reason, motivator for why the consoles put in built-in PVRs, you know. And so after Black Ops 1, not only did they do theater mode, but they started making these subtle overtures to Call of Duty commentators in YouTube itself. Remember in the Black Ops 2 reveal trailer when they show the main bad guy's YouTube page and he has like 100 million subscribers? You know, FPS Russia got his own character model in Black Ops 2. I remember when Vonderhaar did a 1v1 with El Presador, and of course every year now to build up hype, COD does that convention thing where they live stream a bunch of competitive gameplay that ends up on YouTube as well. And so they are trying very hard to take advantage of competitive gaming and turn COD into the next NFL, but that's a story for another commentary. And lastly, for like the last 2 years, the big channels like White Boy T Martin, that Ali A guy, they all get to play, record, and post gameplay of every single map pack before it comes out. And for Ghosts, what they basically did was say, hey, anyone that wants to can fly down to LA and we'll let you play and record and post Ghost gameplay, because they want people watching the game. It's free advertising and it reaches more people than they ever could on their own, even with money. And on top of that, it's exceptionally potent advertising. This is what people need to understand. It engages the audience, and advertising that is interacting with the audience is a million times more effective than advertising that is simply seen by the audience. An ad a gamer sees on TV for Call of Duty will never be as effective as their favorite commentator posting gameplay of it, discussing it, maybe enticing said gamer to comment on the video. Suddenly said gamer is having an in-depth discussion about the game, and because every commentator will provide a different commentary or opinion or perspective on the game, people will often end up watching several videos. And then you have people already posting like funny moments montages, and by the end of it, the typical YouTuber has seen the equivalent of a 30-minute infomercial on the game. They have engaged with the infomercial, and it costs the developer nothing. So YouTube is essentially every advertiser's wet dream, and also every product developer's wet dream. And you can see other indications that games want to take advantage of the YouTube goldmine. Battlefield 4 will have spectator mode, and in the trailer the guy literally says, "This is great for filmmakers." That's a quote, you know, which is Battlefield's way of saying, come make some fucking YouTube videos of our game too. And Titanfall, what they are doing with player movement, where you basically get around the map with parkour, you know, leaping from building to building and sliding under shit and wall running, that also is designed with an eye towards YouTube, because those videos are going to be a lot of fun to watch even when the player isn't in a fight. Assuming the player doesn't suck ass at the game, The only slow part in your typical Call of Duty video will be when they're moving from point A to point B. And that's why I think Battlefield has had a hard time getting its foot in the door on YouTube, is because there's a lot of traveling from point A to point B in that game. But watching someone wall run and leap from buildings from point A to point B, that's not slow. It's not necessarily super exciting, but it keeps your attention, you know what I mean? Whereas on COD, even if there's a lot of super fast-paced, action-packed moments, the periods in between where the player is, just walking around on Turbine looking for bad guys will inevitably turn a lot of people off, because it's all about keeping people's attention, which is a lot harder than you would think. People are always ready to click away from your video the moment you've lost their attention. Generally speaking, the commentary is supposed to keep people's attention during the slow parts, but a lot of commentators, if not most commentators, don't necessarily have strong enough commentaries to do that, especially when the gameplay itself isn't that great to begin with. So, Titanfall, with the new parkour gameplay, which might itself be revolutionary, is not only speeding up the game itself, but also giving a huge advantage to YouTube gameplay commentators. And so with that in mind, now that we're seeing these developments where the games and the consoles are catering to the community, and the community itself is taken off in ways that I don't think anybody really predicted it would, and that even the most obscure games are getting huge followings on YouTube, what that says to me is the community will never die, and it'll just continually become a more integral part of the entire gaming industry itself. This is the future of advertising for gaming. And since it has become this integral part of the gaming industry, since there's plenty of reason at this point to believe that it will continue, I think it's safe to say that making gaming videos on YouTube is going to be a very lucrative financial future. And I don't think everyone can get rich the same way a lot of these huge channels have. Keep in mind, they were there in the very beginning when there was very little competition, and obviously at this point they've had a very long time to grow. But I do think that anyone who enjoys video games and who has the necessary determination can make money on YouTube. Not necessarily a career, but extra spending money. And all you have to do is a hobby that you already know and love, gaming. And extra spending money is a very big deal in today's economy. Most people are living paycheck to paycheck, especially college kids. Every month, a portion of the money they earn is going towards college debt interest, credit card debt interest, car payment, gas, mortgage payment, on top of food, utilities, internet, taxes, and social security. Very few people have any money left after making those payments. And we know huge chunks of both America and the rest of the world won't make enough money to eat regularly. Gaming on YouTube could fill in those missed meals, or just be money you can spend on non-obligatory things like new clothes, a new video game, a book, a date with your girlfriend, save up and get a video camera, or a barbecue grill. Get the fence fixed, get the toilet fixed, get the sink fixed, get a new washer and dryer. I'll be buying Ghosts and Battlefield 4 with YouTube money, which is really cool because for the first time in my life I'm paying rent and I'm not sure I could afford either game otherwise. And not only that, but the more you make and the more you spend, the better the entire economy does. So this YouTube thing can serve you and mankind. You just gotta go get it. And part 3 of this series will be a detailed, in-depth tips and tricks video for growing a gaming channel on YouTube. However, this video will not be coming out anytime soon, as I think it would be inappropriate to start giving advice when my own channel isn't that big yet. But I do intend to change that in November. So stay tuned, and may the Force be with you. This is Batman, signing out.